So, the sixth and final season of Better Call Saul. Looking at interviews from Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul creator Vince Gilligan, it appears this will definitely be the last show or movie set in the Breaking Bad universe. There's two things I would like to mention before I get into this review. Two things I want to get off my chest. The first is that I knew, I say I knew, but it never actually happened in the end. But spoiler alert, I was under the impression that Kim was going to die in the end. Maybe it was a pseudo spoiler I read somewhere, or maybe I just came across an article or comment saying something like, when Jimmy lost Kim, and I jumped to the assumption that that meant she dies. In any case, it had a massive bearing on my viewing of the story, because all of Kim's development and evolution, all of her storylines, in the back of my head, I had it that this would all end with her death, probably murder. Like when she had her car accident, I thought, oh, is she gonna die now? Or when she meets Lalo and I was thinking, oh, this is where she surely dies. So I'm still having to kind of work my head around that, unfill my brain from all the things that I thought were foreshadowing and whatnot. The second thing is that after 1 or 2 seasons, somewhere around then, it was spoiled for me that Lalo killed Howard Hamlin, which was just shocking to me and of course takes away from the actual shock and horror when it actually happens. It sounded bizarre when I came across that spoiler because I couldn't even imagine a character like Lalo and a character like Howard in the same room, and I have always had a soft spot for Howard. I mentioned in a previous review that this character kind of caught my eye and I felt that he wasn't all that bad as he was made out to be, and it was nice to see him given a chunk of the spotlight in season 6. So we pick up events immediately after season 5 with Lalo having survived a shootout even though everyone thinks he died. He is now out there somewhere, a shadow, a spectre, looming and coming for his nemesis Gus Fring, and who knows who may be caught in the crossfire. Jimmy continues his descent into his persona Saul Goodman. He marries Kim so that the duo cannot testify against each other, and they then execute a plan to ruin, or at least marginally damage, the career of Howard Hamlin, having seemingly fixated all of their frustrations and insecurities on him. Meanwhile, Gus is called to Mexico as the cartel react to the apparent death of Lalo, all the while Nacho is on the run after being discovered by Lalo as a rat. So there's a whole chunk of the season which is essentially a run-up to Breaking Bad. The remainder of the show takes place after the events of Breaking Bad, with Jimmy living as Gene Takovich in Nebraska, hiding from the law. We've had these segments of Gene throughout the show, not really too interesting, but in season 6 we get full episodes of Saul's life post-Breaking Bad, with a full narrative taking place and the fate of the unorthodox and offbeat criminal lawyer Saul Goodman finally known. So I really enjoyed season 6 of Better Call Saul. I thought it was the best season. I've been looking online to gauge the consensus, and it seems season 5 is unanimously considered the best, and the final season also highly commended, but not as much as the previous. I don't quite agree, to be honest. I mean, season 5 was brilliant, as was season 4. In fact, the whole show was great. Season 2 is the only one that really frustrated me, and that was pretty much because of the excess fat and that it felt like it was holding back on the story, waiting for future seasons. That aside, you can make a strong argument that Better Call Saul gets better with each season, ending with quite simply superb television. Part of what I liked about it is that it feels like they just threw everything at it in this season. It felt unrestrained and unhinged in places, while retaining and adding to the nuance and character moments that the show is built upon. It feels like the show is so excited and giddy at being able to just throw everything left from the Better Call Saul universe at the screen. Oh, you thought season 2 was boring? Here, have some mob standoffs and action. The natural storyline in the first 3 episodes or so is like a movie in of itself, a tragic thriller. Gus vs. Lalo makes for some great moments of nail-biting tension. Hey, remember Walter and Jesse? Yeah, why don't we just throw them in here as well? And it's all anchored by the evolution and demise of Saul Goodman and his arc. And it all works, it all fits so perfectly. It's like the show and Breaking Bad, as season 6 is the connective tissue between the two shows, but it feels like the whole thing is a big jigsaw puzzle and season 6 is the final few pieces. The only thing I'm struggling with is the ending. I haven't quite yet come to terms with the decision Jimmy made at the end of the show and why he chose that course of action. it's still something I'm trying to swallow, much like the controversial ending of The Sopranos was difficult for a lot of people to swallow. The characters have become so good, so interesting and complex in Season 6 that the likes of Jimmy and Kim, I think, are starting to rival some of the big boys in the playground. I'm not saying the show is on the same level as The Sopranos and The Wire, but Season 6 sure does smash through a bar I wasn't sure it would be able to do, and transcends itself into something quite majestic. So I think I'll leave it there. I know this review has been brief, but I do have a lot more to say about Better Call Saul. But rather than skim the surface with various different things in one video, I want to give characters and plots their full attention in individual separate videos. So be sure to subscribe for an avalanche of Better Call Saul videos, as I have a lot of ideas for new vids, given the show has given me a lot to ponder and chew on. So what did you think of Season 6 of Better Call Saul? Do you think it's the best? How do you think the show compares to Breaking Bad? I definitely enjoyed Better Call Saul more than Breaking Bad, though the two do make good companion pieces, and I think Breaking Bad is actually improved by the details and intricacies of Better Call Saul. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and thanks for watching.